Es hat mich richtig gefreut, das zu machen. Ich dachte, es war ein guter Rolle, das ich erfüllen könnte. Und ich meine, wir haben viele vorbereitet und richtig hart gearbeitet und wir haben eine ziemlich gute Mannschaft zusammengebracht.
I mean, it's always a great honor when you're able to coach at a level like this or help coach at a level like this, and then you add in the ability to help represent a nation and teach guys things that you've learned. And I mean, it's just a huge honor. I don't know if it gets bigger than that.
Well, I was really attracted to it. The logistics of it were a concern from the get-go, I think, trying to figure out a way to make it work and give the German players the most we could. Because one of the reasons I stopped coaching junior was because I was finding that my time had to be allocated in other places, so I couldn't give the players what I thought was everything I had. And with the Team Germany, after speaking with Simon and after speaking with Simon and some of the other coaches, I think we did some good troubleshooting early on in the, I guess, interview process, and we figured out there's different ways to make it work. And so just the opportunity to work with a country that I know had a pretty good field lacrosse tradition already and help them in their first World Championships was something I jumped at.
I was excited. I was interested to see the level of lacrosse. I could see a little bit online, but I couldn't see, it's never real until you watch a full game.
That was my first trip to Germany. It was awesome. Yeah, well, it's such a pretty town, first of all, right? So right away, we enjoyed getting there and then starting to meet the players. It was a lot of fun. It was an experience because when you see box lacrosse played in another area of the world that maybe hasn't had the same upbringing that we have, we saw some players doing some things we had just never seen before. Having been around the game for 20 plus years, you'd see guys try things, and Scott and I would look at each other and say, "What was that?" But sometimes it even works. So.
Mit Schlägern aufeinander eingeprügelt wurde, möchte ich mal sagen. Jetzt vielleicht die Möglichkeit für die Deutschen.
The experience was amazing, though, to see the lacrosse equipment and clothing tent set up at the ENC. Little things like that. You see everybody participating, watching all the games. It was really surprising to us to see that lacrosse is so popular around the world. Like, one of my first conversations with you, Simon, was I asked if this was their primary sport, right? And the reason was because I wasn't expecting what we found. And lacrosse is big in Europe, and it's going to get bigger.
Noch 2 Tore aufzuholen, jetzt vielleicht gleich sogar in Unterzahl die Möglichkeit. Da läuft der Spieler mit der Nummer 18 frei auf den Gegner zu, aufs gegnerische Tor, und das ist 2:3.
So how was your feeling in the period between the ENC and the World Championships where you couldn't get over to Germany to coach them again?
Yeah, that's where the logistics became a bit of an issue. But I think we got a lot of good work done because we did everything we could to give the guys as much of a learning experience as they could. So we were able to have the Skype meetings. We did the Periscope chat. We sent the practice plans to everybody. Everything was gone over. We got to see video from the practices that the German team had.
Thilo Fuchs.
Tilo. I don't really have a nickname for Tilo. I just love talking to him. He's like the most intense guy, but but then all of a sudden he'll joke around and he's standing there in his underwear making jokes with you. So I don't think I have a nickname for Tilo.
Tyler Glebe.
The Glebe Show. Tyler Glebe is the Glebe Show, and he takes a shower during first warm-ups for every single game, and I can't understand it, and it drives me crazy because I always want to have two goalies out there. And when I go to the dressing room, I come in there and he's standing there dripping wet in a towel.
On three? Auf drei. Auf drei. 1, 2, 3, bang. Deutschland on drei. 1, 2, 3. Deutschland! Everybody go for ballroom.
Christian Schröder.
Ahab. I'm saying that right? Yeah. Ahab. Ahab was exactly what I expected from a German lacrosse player. He does exactly what he's told and not one other thing. So he's funny because when I ask him questions, I say, why didn't you do this? And he'll say, well, you told me to do this. And it may be something I told him 3 days previous, but yeah, I did tell him to do that. So.
Maximilian Sandlein.
Sandy. Sandy's a quick young player. He's got a good future ahead of him. The details of the game are coming to him, and he plays on a good team. He's got a good stick, and he's a good athlete. And the more experience he gets, he's going to be deadly.
Wie findest du die anderen Stabmitglieder, also vor allem die Mädels?
Die sind super. Ja, die haben viel geholfen. Die haben so alle diese Dinge, die sind alle die Jobs, das keiner will machen, aber die haben alle die gemacht und mit der guten Lache.
Donnie
Jacks really stepped up this tournament. I don't think I have a nickname for him, but he is a big body that lays a lot of hits down and a real good guy. I think he went out to Prague for practices. Unbelievable team guy, yeah.
Tilo Siegel.
Tilo Siegel makes me a bit nervous sometimes. We call him, I don't know what the guys call him, the coaches, we call him Siegs.
We call him J-Lo.
J-Lo, yeah, they call him J-Lo, that's right too. Most of the time we call him Siegs because maybe we never got the J-Lo reference. I think it had something to do with his butt, right?
Not really.
No?
A little maybe.
Well, if you're calling someone J-Lo, it should have something to do with their butt. But Siegs is really good. Siegs is intense and he'll go through a wall for you.
Ich habe bisher alle großen Schritte in meinem Leben zusammen mit meinem Bruder gemacht. Und von daher war das ein weiterer. Und es war normal.
Michael Walter.
Michael Walter, he doesn't think I know the difference between him and Marius, but I do. So I do know the difference. Michael improved a lot over this tournament. I don't have a nickname for those two. There's no nickname, is there?
Twingos.
The twin girls. Yeah,
No,
okay. So I don't have a
Twingos,
nickname
not
for them.
twin girls.
Twingos?
Twingo.
Not twin girls.
No, not
Okay.
Twingos.
No, he's a good guy. I remember the first time I met him, or the first time I coached him, we were in Dresden, and I pulled him aside on the bench, and I said, you got to do this, this, and this, right? And then I looked at him, I said, do you understand? And he looked at me, he goes, yeah, coach, I'm a rocket scientist, I get it.
Naja, also wenn ich es schaffe, dann schafft er es auch und umgekehrt. Also es ist für mich eher so, wenn ich es nicht geschafft hätte, hätte ich es nicht verstanden, warum er es schafft und umgekehrt. Und daher ist es für mich quasi normal, mit ihm zusammen zu spielen. Ich kenne es auch nicht anders.
Marius Walter. Marius is good. He really looks out for his brother too. They're a little bit. They're very different personalities, as similar as they look the same. I find Misha to be a lot more firm. Marius maybe a little bit lighter. Marius did some things today that kind of drove me crazy, but he's a good guy.
Maximilian Bieber.
Biebs is funny. Biebs always has a good laugh to him. He's a player that we expected a lot out of coming out of the ENC. Really delivered, great assistant captain. Put him in every situation. Can't think of anything goofy he did because he was always just doing his job.
Brian Tyack.
Tyack. I call him Brandon Tyack half the time, and I mix up their first names between him and Shea, and they get mad at me, and that's fair. Tyack's a great player. He's fast. He, moves the ball up the floor so well, and he's focused. Although I don't think he has a goal yet, so I think he's got the worst shooting percentage on the team. So maybe he'll fix that tomorrow.
Teils war ich müde, teils war ich sehr aufgeregt und nervös, teils hatte ich einfach nur sehr viel Spaß. Es waren gute Busfahrten. Die waren wichtig.
Thomas Nipo.
Nature Boy. Nature Boy is great. I met Nature Boy for the first time here in Syracuse. He's a pretty funny cat. He dressed backup goalie the one time for us, and he didn't really have a problem with it, but he's got a good intense stare. All his eyes are wide open when he talks to you.
Ich hab heute nichts versäumt, denn ich hab nur von dir geträumt. Wir haben uns lang nicht mehr gesehen, wenn wir zu dir rübergehen. Alles, was ich an dir mag, alles nur ich es sag. Ich bin total verwirrt, ich werd verrückt, wenn's heute passiert. Nicht zu der Zeit.
Sebastian Herzberg.
Seabass. Seabass is another one that I just met when I got here, and I love Seabass. Seabass will run through a wall for you. I got a couple videos of him rapping doing freestyle rapping for us, and it's not good, but he did it. But he's a good cat, yeah, and he's a hard worker, man.
Ich hab nur von dir geträumt, wir haben uns lang nicht mehr gesehen.
Ja. Kritischer Moment, ne? Alle sind immer noch so ein bisschen so in ihrem Tran, so in eigenen Welten, alle noch so am Facebooken, Twittern oder Tindern und ist, glaube ich, wichtig, da ein bisschen so nochmal die Sachen, die wir halt auch im Teammeeting besprochen haben und auch die Learnings, die wir aus den letzten Spielen mitgenommen haben sollten, quasi nochmal zu rekapitulieren und dann quasi beim Warm-up dann auch abzuhaben. Aber das ist so eine Zwischenwelt. So, du bist so halb noch im Schlaf, andererseits kommt das gleiche Spiel. Ist so ein Wabern quasi stimmungsmäßig.
Ich will dir rübergehen.
Philipp Groß.
Flipsy. That's not bad, right? Flipsy. We got to shave his mustache, I think. Flipsy's a great player. Very smart. He coaches, which is phenomenal. I think he absorbed a lot. Great shot. Good athlete. But that mustache, I think Flipsy, if you shave that mustache, you get a little faster.
Der beste Moment ist eigentlich beim ersten Spiel zu lesen, dass ich mit dabei bin und beim ersten Box Lacrosse Indoor Spiel der deutschen Nationalmannschaft im Kader zu stehen und Minuten auf dem Feld zu haben.
Henning Ratjen.
Henning, man, Henning is smart. Henning is a smart dude. We call him Henny. And do you guys have a nickname for him?
Not really.
No. Yeah, we call him Henny. But man, he's a smart dude. He when we tell him to do something, I've never seen it be put into practice as quickly as it is with him. He just goes out and does it. Real smart dude. A lot of respect for him.
Stefan Schröder.
Steph improved a lot since the ENC. Steph, I know you're watching this, so you used to carry your stick all the way down your knees, parallel with the ground. Now we've picked it up a little bit, and it's helping our game quite a bit. And today, or the other day, he came in and he said, I don't only play offense. I said, well, no, I don't. I didn't know that. And then we put him out to play transition. He did a great job.
Dennis Herd.
Herdy is probably the unsung hero of this tournament. Herdy was tough to get into the lineup in offense, and we gave him a really difficult job. He'd never played defense before. We said, "Can you play transition?" And he said, "What do I do?" We told him. He said, "Yes, coach." And he came in. He did an unbelievable job, working his tail off. But I don't think he was ready to run that much this tournament.
Mark Brandenburger.
Burger King, right? The pronunciation, I call him Mark Bradenburger, so yeah. Burger King. We had a tough, hard-nosed, he's a hard-nosed little player. He's another guy that takes an absolute beating, and he's such a silently deadly assassin out there, Like, he kind of disappears into the ether for about 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden, he'll have 3 10-bell opportunities and put the ball in the net. Great pick and roll guy, learns real quick, good guy. As far as an exhibition game goes, we couldn't have asked for anything more. We got the guys in, we got good results. We had fairly good execution, and we learned some lessons. So I thought it was fantastic.
Meine Erwartungen an das Turnier sind, jedes Spiel 100% zu geben und bestmöglich zu zocken und zu gewinnen.
Ich denke, wir können eine Mannschaft sein, die überraschen kann. Und ich denke, wir sind eine gute Truppe, die was reißen kann.
I would hope that all the players grow and develop throughout the tournament, that they find their own area to excel in. I hope that we can come together as a team. We haven't played much together, so there's not much time to develop a whole lot of team chemistry. I just hope that we take a lot of learnings from this tournament and hopefully then bring those learnings back to Germany.
Die Nationalhymne zu singen direkt vor dem Spiel und dann gleich auf den Platz zu kommen und zu zocken.
worked so hard to be here, and we deserve to be here. Right? Right? 100%! And when we play, we don't play for us. We play for the guys that are coaching us, for our families at home, and for the whole country. So, 100%. For everybody in the world. Every string it is every 100%! When I know this good
Going into the game, we had some concerns, obviously, because they had Stephen Keogh on their team, and he's an NLL All-Star. So they had some other players with some pretty good experience at high levels in Canada. So we knew we had our hands full that game. We came out, I thought we were pretty flat for the majority of the game, but we were able to stay in it. And when when you play lacrosse, you just want to stay in it. Stay within striking distance, and we did. And I thought towards the end of the game, we were in a really good position to take a win there. And we cut the lead to, I forget what the lead was down to, but it was a real close game. And we already had at one point, I think it was a 1 or 2 goal game. We already had 3 calls go back against us for an in the crease that I still see in the tape. I still can't find any of them being in the crease.
Left down, you can see they've got a lot of pressure. Ben Snyder out top, way up by their straining line on Brose. Penalty coming. They're going to say no goal, another crease violation. Gristle again goes to the net and again steps in the crease.
So that would have been a big difference maker, but even still, those calls aside, we had Jamie Plunkett had a great drive to the net and buried the ball, which would have been a huge goal. I forget if it tied us up or brought us to 1. And lo and behold, apparently he was in the crease as well. And we just, for whatever reason, we just couldn't get it to go our way that game. And that's what happens in the process.
They're going to say his butt was in the crease as he backed his way through Tyler Roach. That was close as Plunkett was falling to the floor. 4th goal they've had called back, and that may have been the closest.
That makes it a 9-8 game.
Hey guys, we have never been out of this game yet. We've been in this game all the time. Until the end, we fight it, and we take this to the next game, okay? So flush it down. Game is over. We lost the first one, win the second one, okay? If the 4 goals that we scored have been counted, we've won this game, okay? We've been on the same... I say danke, you say hello. Okay. Danke!
Aber unser Gewinn gegen Israel war super. Wir haben gut genug gespielt zu gewinnen gegen der wahrscheinlich 4. Platz der Mannschaft. Und ja, wir haben gesagt, dass wir können vieles machen.
Well, that I think will stand out as the highlight of our tournament for sure. It was just a cool setting, you know, like we were playing, it was our first game in the pavilion, the new pavilion they built. Israel was a good team, we watched them, they're fast, they've got a lot of North Americans on their team. They play fast, they've got an NLL goaltender, Zach Higgins, right? So we knew we had our hands full that game. But we also knew what we wanted to do as a team. Which was limit their 5-star scoring opportunities, which we did a really good job at. The whole game was really cool. You know, the pavilion's kind of outdoors, so it started raining a few times during it, and it was a packed house. You know, like it was a standing room only. So the crowd was loud, and the game was close the whole way. I think it was only a 2-goal spread at any point, and I think later on in the game we had actually lost the lead. And the way the gameplay was going, and this is the point that I really thought that our team was really something special, and I still do, was in the second quarter when Israel was just taking it to us. They were just punishing us, really. It was just shot after shot. We just couldn't get our things together. And I said it's like we were on the ropes. Right? I assumed the Germans knew what that meant, what they meant, and they didn't. But they nodded like they did. What it means is, you know, like when you're a boxer and the other boxer has you pinned up against the ropes and they're punching you just in a defensive stance. And that's where we were for that second quarter. I mean, we just did everything we could to make it to halftime. We went to halftime with the lead, and we told the guys just regroup, get out there and play. And they did. And although we were outshot, I still think the shots that came against us, none of them were uncontested, none great opportunities, and the guys dug down. Made some huge defensive stops. Tyler Glebe was huge, and we got our opportunistic goals, and we were able to win against in an amazing game, amazing setting. And, you know, that's how close we could be because Israel's playing for the bronze medal this weekend.
It was a complete game. It was back and forth game. We made some mistakes. we did some things well, they made some mistakes, they did some things well, but if you look at the complete game, you know, it's a win, and it's a win against the team that is now, you know, going to play for a medal.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, I tried to forget it till you reminded me. We called a timeout. I think we called a timeout, or Israel called a timeout with probably 40 seconds, under a minute to go, whatever. And they pulled their goalie to go 6-on-5 against us. And we called in the team, and we said, we called in our specialty D guys, like our special teams for it, and Scott said he wanted to run it, so I said, okay, get your guys, get them up there, get them together. And the timeout was over, and the guys were running back on the floor, and I said, Scott, you told them not to shoot at the net, right? And Scott just gave me a look with his eyes wide open. So I thought it wouldn't get as bad as it was, and we got the ball back with probably about 20 seconds to go, maybe, and Siegel went, was it Siegel? No, Bieber got the ball at center and decided that he was going to shoot at an open net from center. Now, you don't want to do that in lacrosse because you want to hang on to the ball and just let the game clock run out.
Bieber with that shot,
they can get it back and come down and score. So Biebs shot at the open net, and I screamed at the top of my lungs. I couldn't talk for 2 days and stopped shooting at the net, but he missed. So I thought, okay, maybe we can get the rebound and let the clock run out.
Bieber with that shot, shouldn't have shot it.
Got the rebound
and then shoots behind the back.
Rather than let the clock run out, I'm going to try behind the back. And I don't think I've ever seen Siegel try behind the back anything before, let alone having a big game on the line. And he took his behind the back shot, I think with a guy all over him too, and he missed the net. And this is just pandemonium. The whole arena's going crazy at this point. And then I forget who the third guy was. It was a rebound came off the boards when Siegel missed the net. He jumped up really high to try and get it. I'm thinking, no way he's shooting at the open net. And sure enough, he got the ball. And as he's coming down, he took another shot at the open net. And by this point, you just run out of luck, right? It's the lacrosse gods per se decided, okay, that's enough for you, idiot.
Have done it. Deckelbaum comes up with it. There's 9 seconds left for Hedman to Bergman. Fed in front. Oh, and it's just wide. And the Germans win their first game in the World Indoor Lacrosse Championships ever.
After the game, every single one of those guys came up to me and goes, hey, I know that I made a mistake, I shouldn't do that. And I'm like, okay, good, but then I'm walking away. I'm like, what, you knew you shouldn't do that, but you still did it? And all three of them said the same thing, but whatever. We ended up getting the win, so Jesus.
Ja, 5 Tore gegen Israel und dann gewinnen ist halt schon geil, gell? Nachdem man 3-mal Tore gegen Irland aberkannt bekommt und dann 5 schießt, das ist halt dann schon geil.
Wolfgang Krause.
Wolfie is our captain, and I met him for the first time here. And my first exposure to Wolfie playing was Wolfie scoring 3 goals in the crease in the first quarter I've ever seen him play lacrosse. So I wasn't sure what to think after that quarter, but you know what? The video said the goals were good. And since then, he's been one of our best players. Great leader, optimistic guy. He communicates with all the guys very well. He communicates with the coaching staff really well. And a really good lacrosse player, deadly.
Artyom Meriash.
Artie. Artie. Artie's a great guy. You know what, the thing about Artie was, about 2 weeks before we came here, I was searching the internet for some German stuff, and I stumbled across this page where, I think it was a link through Lax All-Stars, and Artie was sitting at a makeup table singing show tunes, putting on makeup, it was for fundraising, which is great because I guess I got him a couple bucks. But I think that might be already in a nutshell right there. He was a good player, always wanting to learn, always trying to score. Good player.
Jamie Plunkett.
Plunkett. If you watch the first, we just call him Plunkett. We don't have many good nicknames. If you watch the first 2 games of this tournament, he was probably the MVP of the tournament after the first 2 games. He was unbelievable to start this tournament. He's a great finisher. He takes an absolute beating out there. I don't know how he does it because the second he hits the floor, the other team targets him with 3 or 4 guys, and he takes it the whole game. He's kept his cool this tournament too, and he's been one of our most dominant players.
Brendan Shea.
Brendan Shea, I think he scored about 600 goals in the last 3 games, hasn't he? Something like that? Jesus. Yeah, I don't know what to say about Shea. He's a gentleman, he's a good guy, you know. He's obviously from my neck of the woods. I didn't meet him until I got here in Syracuse, but I don't know if I've ever seen someone shooting so hot as he is right now.
Ich wollte doch nur ein bisschen freier sein, jetzt bin ich oder nicht.
Frieda Hamann.
Frieda is a great guy. Frieda is the first German player I ever met as well. The first night we got to Dresden and we went to go check out the arena, he's the first guy we ever met. And, you know, so we really like Frieda. He works really hard, he takes a beating. I don't know why he was playing the Swiss game, his last shift. You know, he's a smaller guy, he just ran through the middle. He took some 6-foot guy's double chop through his chest and he didn't deserve it, but he took it, he kept going. Frieda's a great guy.
Dominik Schüler.
Shoo. We love Shoo. Shoo might be the most endearing dude on the planet. We want to wrap him up and take him home. He is hilarious, and he's I think one of our most valuable players this tournament. Just a grinder. Love him.
Let's go!
So next day against Serbia was the last game in our group.
That was a tough game to prepare for. Number one, because of the emotional high the night before. That was a day game, and the day before was a night game, so we didn't have too much time to recover. We had played Serbia, I think, at the ENC, and we had a fairly easy time with them, and I think that some of the guys thought it was going to be another easy time.
Elite certainly enjoying the chance to get some power play time. Not usually in an offensive position in the NLL. Alex Keitch is an offensive guy, though, and he rips that one sidearm, low to high.
But they had a very different team. They had the Ilya and what's the other guy? What's the first name? Well, they had the Geik brothers, and the Geik brothers are, you know, they're all Alex Geik, right? I think, right? Come on. You know, they're all-star NLL caliber players, so we knew we had our hands full with them, and then they had Billick out the back, who's another NLL player.
Right now, I don't think we're there. We can get there, though. We were gifted a bunch of power plays, and we were gifted an opportunity to come out there with a tie game. We're pretty lucky. And that gives us a hell of an opportunity to go out there and play 2 quarters of the game we were supposed to play when we showed up here today.
I don't know if it was a combination of taking things lightly. The first half kind of we came out flat, but we battled back. We took the lead going in at half, and I thought we were in a pretty good spot. And then the second half, things just didn't go our way, you know. And it might have just been a little bit of fatigue from the such a high the night before, but that was a game we really felt got away from us.
But effort without execution is wasted, it really is. We would have been better off running a marathon today. We wouldn't be banged up. Would have had just the same work to it, but it's got to come down to execution. And we said this when we played England. You play those top level teams, they're not that much better than you, but if you execute, that's the difference. We're not that much better than them, but they executed, that's the difference. And what should sting the most is that we played so poorly and we still could have won the game. That's the team we lost to. Okay?
Well, I hope it grows, you know. That's the goal here, and that's what we tell the players. Like, this tournament's very important to us. It's very important for German lacrosse and German indoor lacrosse, but everyone here has got to be thinking big picture. And the big picture of lacrosse in Germany is a solid German foundation where it's comprised of German players, German coaches, where you don't need guys like me and Scott coming in anymore. And we're hoping that these guys eventually can take what they're learning from us, tactically, organizationally. They can take it back and teach the next guy. You know, like even up to practice yesterday, we were teaching them new things, and we said to them, we might not use this, but we want you to take it home and make German lacrosse better.
Well, definitely growing. I mean, I think probably in the entire country we've had 50 real box lacrosse players that are box oriented, and I think that number is going to grow to 100. There's talks of a league next year, so we're only going to get bigger and better from here on out.
Also es zeigt sich ja alleine daran, dass Leute wie der Philipp Prosch oder Wolfgang Kriesel Dennis und mir Lacrosse-Spielen beigebracht haben und das in 4 Jahren geschafft haben. Und wenn ich überlege, wenn wir das weiterführen, hoffe ich, egal aus welchen Vereinen in Deutschland, dass wir viele talentierte Spieler generieren können und in 4 Jahren hoffentlich nur noch mit deutschen Spielern auf dem Platz stehen.
That was just an ugly game. But Turkey, I don't know what the heck they're doing, but they get everybody to play whatever game they want to play. If you look at all their scores, it's a track meet. Every game 24-17, even today. That was a really frustrating game. We were in a position to win that game a few times, and we just couldn't pull away. And like I said, in lacrosse, you just want to stay within striking distance, and they were able to stay within striking distance, and then they were able to build a little bit of a lead. We were able to make a call to have their goalie taken out of the game in the 4th quarter, and I thought that we were in a great position to take that win still. And you know, just some discipline, I think, where we didn't stick to our game plan, and you get off, and that's the difference in these tournaments. Like, you look at the tournament from top to bottom, it's so close. Yeah, that was... Serbia was the game that was most disappointing because it would have put us through, and we ended up finishing last. Turkey was the game that was probably most discouraging because it was just 2 games in a row where we just couldn't execute what we wanted, and we were in a dark place, I think, after that game because it was a tough loss to take. Coming out of the Turkey game, we were in a dark place. The mood of the team was down. The confidence was, I don't know if the confidence really wavered, but the mood was down. But then the character showed through. The guys came out and played what was probably their best game of the tournament. They played phenomenal, and it might have been coupled with the idea they had a lot of confidence against the Swiss. Not from disrespect, it's just from a history of playing them. They were confident against them. And we executed our game plan phenomenally. Aside from 5 minutes in the 2nd quarter, I thought we were just a dominant team. We were up 7-1 after the 1st quarter. You know, you could put Team Canada against any team. Building a 7-1 lead isn't easy. The Finland game stung the most out of any, I think, because we deserved that game. I thought we played really well as a team. We started a little bit flat, yes. We started a little bit flat, I thought. But maybe 7 or 8 minutes in, we started to find our groove. We played extremely well, I thought. Finland's a very good team. What I like about Finland is that their team plays tough, and they actually have Finnish players on their team, which is a good, nice change rather than playing a bunch of Canadians in different jerseys, right? But they played really tough, and I thought our guys stuck to the game plan. I thought they executed. I thought they took a lot of the rough stuff very well, without retaliation, without taking stupid penalties. They stuck to the game plan. We were able to build a lead. I think we had a 2 or 3 goal lead going into the fourth quarter. We were playing well, really confident, and then things just kind of got taken away from us. In my opinion, I thought we had a weak 3 minutes or so where we gave up 2 or 3 goals, and then that put us in a position where we were vulnerable, and I thought we fell to some...
Right? It's a game of runs. 4 goals here, 4 goals here, 4 goals there. When that starts to happen, in the future, you take this with you, and in a game you have to stop the momentum. Find a way to stop the momentum. If you're a goal scorer, score a goal. If you're a D guy, make a big stop. If you're a big guy that hits, make a big hit. If you're a face-off guy, get a face-off. If you're a goalie, make a save. Right? And that's it. When teams go on runs, and that's the only thing I take from that game. You played a perfect game for a lot of the game, and you had a couple little slip-ups. It cost you. That's it.
So what are your expectations for the game tomorrow against Serbia for the second time?
We expect to win, right? We want to win. We left the last game with Serbia with a really, really foul taste in our mouth for a lot of reasons. And the biggest reason was that we thought we sold ourselves short that game. It was a game that we should have won, I think. But we didn't, so we didn't play well enough to win, so we have to do it tomorrow. It's rare, and especially in a tournament like this where you get to see a team a second time to get your payback in. I think that the guys are pumped up for it. I think they're focused for it. They know what they have to do. It's going to be up to them to see how we're going to finish this tournament. I think we're going to finish well.
Seeing the level of lacrosse that we've seen from the other nations here, knowing that we beat that team from Israel on, the second game in there when they were still fresh, and seeing what we're capable of, I would have liked a top 5 finish in this tournament. I think it's completely possible that could have happened if we won 1 or 2 more games and made 1 or 2 less mistakes. I would like to see a top 5 finish and be in a medal game, 4 years from now. Absolutely. I would like to see a win in a European Championship. Absolutely. The overall schemes are there. The team is there. The athletes are there. They just need to execute.
I really like these guys. I think there's a good unity. Lacrosse is still obviously growing in Germany, but it's still small. All these guys, there's nobody introducing themselves, obviously. They know each other, they played against each other. They all got along, and I love it, man. I love the guys letting the anthem belt out before every game. Every game I take a second to sit back and listen to it because it's so impressive, and I love the passion that they have. They get up every morning, they do their jog, they do their stretch. I think there's 3 or 4 other teams in here. I haven't seen one other team do that. Most of the team are together most of the time for meals, and I think right now even they're over there watching games. For me after a game, last thing I want to do is watch a game because I want to sit there and go over details of the game. But these guys, they just love lacrosse so much, they just want to get over there and see it and learn. So it's great. And then the opening ceremonies were great, where everybody got to sit together and walk out together. And Schuler with the flag was fantastic. Yeah, it was cool. I love these guys. They're a great group of guys.
Deutschland.
Deutschland.
Deutschland!
Deutschland.
Deutschland!
Deutschland.
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 Deutschland!
Deutschland.
Deutschland. Deutschland.
Bayern.
Deutschland.
Bayern. Deutschland und Bayern.
Everywhere. Lacrosse has taken me everywhere. So lacrosse has taken me overseas to meet you guys and this team. It's taken me all over North America. It took me to Denver, where I live now, and I met my family, and where I've settled down.
Ja, das war's. Ich bin zufrieden, das muss nicht mehr in Clarion bleiben.
Okay.
Aber richtig woanders zu schlafen.
Das aus Schnee ist Saint-Tropez. Ich kann nicht mal das ABC. Mama sagte damals schon, mach was dein Ding, aber du hast das da nicht nötig in den Charts zu stehen. Manchmal wünschte ich mir, ich hätte einen anderen Beruf. Die Hälfte meiner Arbeitszeit sitze ich gelangweilt am Pool, yeah, aber nie etwas gelernt. Mein Gedächtnis ist jetzt hin, muss mir eine neue Wohnung kaufen, weil ich meine letzte nicht mehr filme. Alle meine Lehrer dachten, ich schaffe es nie aus der Gosse nach oben. Ich habe mir in Chemie immer den falschen Stoff eingezogen. Wir haben alle in der Schule gelernt. Will ich doch nur gute Mathe, könnte ich dir sagen, wie viel es heute waren. Aber ohne den Worten von Professoren zu horchen, sind wir Idioten geworden. Wie vielleicht ohne binomische Formel, einen modischen Porsche. Über die Gefahren dieses Globus erforschen. Wir sind an tropischen Orten, schon fast durch Blowjobs gestorben. Guck doch, ich trag ihn um den Hals und der ist schwer mein Erfolg. Denn die meisten Medaillen sind auch auf der Kehrseite Gold.
Wir haben alle in der Schule geraucht und jetzt sieh uns an. Sie sagen, wir haben unser Leben verbaut und jetzt sieh uns an. Jeder darf wieder hoffentlich lernen. Wir wollen auf allem bloß einen Job und dann sterben.
Ihr darf sogar wieder hoffentlich lernen. Wir wollen auf allem einen Job und dann sterben.